this computer. All right, hello. We are live and we are recording this session. So please do not share anything confidential. This will be recorded and potentially seen by many people around the world. So I'd like to welcome everybody to the three-part online SEO course. You're going to learn how to boost lead generation and sales from your website through Google organic search. What you're seeing there is me speaking or teaching a class in person. I think that was in Greece, Thessaloniki. I wish we could have done this workshop in person. That was the goal. We were going to do a full day workshop with still COVID. It was a little bit, hey, should we do it? Not. So we decided to do a three-part online SEO course. This is the first time that we're doing something like this. I hope you guys are going to like the format. We're going to send out a survey after when this class is over. Please give us your honest opinion. Let us know how you feel, how you like this class or not. So that being said, let's go to the next slide. So hey, I'm Chris. I'm the founder of Boulder SEO Marketing. I founded this company about 12 years ago, ramped it up rather fast the first 2-3 years, then got remarried, helped raise 5 kids, took a break from the agency life. I was an excellent housewife. And then about 2-3 years ago, Daniel and I teamed up. I'll let Daniel introduce himself in a little bit. But yeah, basically, we started to ramp up the agency again about 2 years ago. I'm originally from Switzerland, moved to beautiful Boulder, Colorado in 96, 97. It's a great place to ski, mountain bike, hike, bike, all that cool stuff. I've been in digital marketing for about 2+ decades. My expertise is in organic search engine optimization. I speak globally, and I think if you do a search for international SEO expert, you should see my personal site, the chrisralph.com website at the top. So it's really, I turned a sort of like a passion, a hobby into a job, and I love what I do. Oh yeah, and this is what I really love, get away on vacation and go surf and scuba dive. All right, Daniel.
You skipped your beer lover.
Oh yeah, I love beer. We have really good beer here in Colorado.
Very cool. So my name is Daniel. I am originally from Brazil, and I moved to the United States to go to college. I went to the University of Miami, and I actually started my first very agency right after college. So running agencies is what I've been doing pretty much all my life. And my past agency experience is in Los Angeles. I ran a website design agency for about 20 years. And a lot of the experience that I bring to the table now in kind of what we do today here is really kind of wearing that hat of the website design and development of things. And now it's even more important than ever because everything that has to do with SEO ties really much with the way that the website works and the way the website functions and the way that users interact with the website. And the way that people interact with the website play a huge factor in how well it ranks as well. So, you know, SEO and website design and development have really become one thing. And that's what kind of Chris and I work really well with the left brain, right brain kind of scenario where he really focuses on the SEO side of things. And I can bring a little bit more of that as, you know, the web design experience. Yeah, moved to Boulder 4 years ago, joined forces, and I have to say that we're very excited to put this course together and present it to you guys. We've been working hard on creating this content, especially Chris, and I think you guys are going to get a lot of great information from it. So looking forward to getting started.
Cool. And then, so if you have any questions, throw them into the chat. We're going to take dedicated breaks, you know, after certain sections to see if we need to answer any questions. But basically, what will you get out of this SEO course? All right, let's start with what will you not get out of this SEO course? You will definitely not know everything there's to know about SEO. So I've been involved in search engine optimization for about 25 years. I still learn every day. This is changing all the time. So you definitely will not know everything there's to know. I do recommend, if you want to do SEO in-house or yourself, there's a ton of great information out there, including, recordings of courses like, the ones that we're hosting right now. So I encourage you, keep on educating yourself, including there's a lot of information on YouTube. SE Ranking, if you have signed up for the trial, they have an SEO Academy with a great course. So a lot of educational information out there. Okay, so what will you get out of this course? I do believe that you will have a great understanding of how SEO works nowadays and why things are working the way they are working. I also think you will be able to start implementing an SEO strategy, if you so choose to do it yourself in a strategic and organized way. That's half the battle, right? And then you're going to talk about it in a little bit.
Yes.
We're very, 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 very process driven. There's a lot of, I've seen it all. A lot of agencies, and anybody can start an SEO agency, but it's truly the expertise and processes that will decide if you're going to be successful with this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll talk about this. You got the links to the process templates. That is extremely important. I also believe that you will be able to tackle some of the most important SEO tasks, and you'll also be able to educate other team members, again, if you want to keep this in-house. All right. SE Ranking, please, 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 if you have not already signed up for the free trial, please do so. We've been working with SE Ranking for a very long time. We're not going to make money if you continue to use the tool. They basically provide us with free access to the tool. In return, we help promote the tool to people like you who attend our workshops. They are based in Ukraine. I just had a call with them the other day. They're all over the world now, so I definitely, love to endorse them. It's an awesome tool. It's basically one of the only tools that we use now for project work. All right, so let's quickly take a look at the agenda. We're going to try to cover over the next 3 sessions here. First session today, getting started, we're going to talk about SEO fundamentals, and I want to make sure you guys understand how the Google algorithm works. Then we'll talk about how to get organized. We're going to take a look at process templates. I also would love for you guys to do the buyer persona profile exercises for next time. Obviously, everything is totally optional here, but you're going to get a lot more out of it if you actually do these optional exercises. Then we're going to dive deep into on-page optimization. We're going to do keyword research from scratch. We'll take a look at low-hanging fruit keyword opportunities. We'll talk about keyword mapping, and then a very important on-page task, meta tags. How are we going to create meta tags that are optimized? Okay. Then I want to show you how to set up a project in SE Ranking, and then hopefully we'll have enough time for recap and Q&A. So that being said, I think it's an awesome opportunity for you guys to learn from. I do believe we're experts. We've been doing this for a very long time. Ask any question that you have, please. All right. Then the second day, we're going to dive deeper into technical SEO. We'll tackle content. We'll talk about micro SEO strategies. We actually trademarked that term. That's the new SEO. It's what's working now, and we'll show you results of some of the micro SEO strategies that we have implemented for our clients. We'll talk about conversion rate optimization. Once we get people to a website, let's make sure they actually take the right action that we want them to take. And then again, recap, Q&A. And then the last day here, we'll take a look at Google Search Console. If you guys are not already familiar with this tool, it's a free tool by Google. You absolutely need to have set this tool up if you have a website. Just do a Google search for claim Google Search Console. It's very intuitive, just walk through the process. You absolutely need to have access to this tool. And then, sorry, you want to say?
No.
Okay. We're going to dig a little bit deeper into, we're going to take a look at additional components of a successful micro SEO strategy. I also want to talk, and we're going to talk about backlinks. It's still one of the most important ranking signals in Google's algorithm. Let's learn how to boost our backlink profile with legit backlink earning strategies. Then we'll take a look at the off-page optimization best practices. Sadly, social media has to be part of your SEO strategy. I tell you, I could live without social media, but it needs to be part of your SEO strategy. And then recap, conclusion, and Q&A. So that being said, I think I'm gonna turn off my video here for now, and then we're gonna dive deep into this presentation. Yeah. Actually, any questions right now that we can answer before we get started here?
And I have a quick, while you guys are putting any questions, and I have a quick note real quick. The process that we're going to go over, which is outlined during these 3 days, is exactly the process that we take to manage and run campaigns for our clients. So it's, and that's the reason we know it works. And, the way that we run the agency is we do all of this stuff, and we're always changing things here and there, but it's pretty much a consistent process of these deliverables. So, everything that you are going to be learning is exactly what we do for our clients. And I think we're going to be outlining in a lot of detail. So if this is something that you really want to take on and implement yourself, you're going to have the ability to know everything that you need to do to be able to implement a really successful campaign.
Yeah, and even if you're somebody who wants to start their own agency, I mean, more power to you. We sadly, there's a lot of crappy SEO agencies out there. So if we can help, train the next generation of really good agencies, that's totally fine with me, right? So, all right, so that being said, we're going to turn off our video here. If you have any questions, throw them into the chat, and then we'll take a look at the questions throughout the presentation. All right, video gone. All right. Lead generation. Definitely SEO is probably the least expensive, yet most effective way to generate leads. If you look at these, this presentation here, or these statistics, generating leads in a B2B environment is extremely expensive. Search engine optimization, according to this report here, is the least expensive way to generate leads. And it's also the gift that keeps on giving back, right? Daniel, if we look at the example that we're going to share later, the Pour Spouts page that we created, that is consistently generating more and more and more traffic, and it's making them a ton of money.
Absolutely.
So we set that up, now we can sort of like let it rest for a little bit, and we'll share exactly the example that I'm talking about here. So this is why you should invest in it, in SEO. Google Ads, you're going to pay per click. If you turn off your Google Ads campaign, or if the budget is spent, you disappear. SEO, you will stick up, you will show up at the top in Google for the foreseeable future. All right, this is the example that I just mentioned. So this is a client of ours. It's a small barware company. They're actually growing very rapidly. So one of their keywords was pour spouts, right? And then Daniel, I'll let you talk about the details when we get to that slide. Mm-hmm. If you take a look, so this is what this training is all about, right? It's understanding What are people searching for in relation to what you have to offer on your website? All right, in this case, they wanted to sell more of their pour spouts. All right, it's very important to understand the SERPs, the search engine results pages. Google will most likely slap ads on top before the first organic search results. And I'll get to the statistics on how many people click on the Google Ads listings there. But we see, image ads and then, Google Ads, text ads. But check this out. They are now number one for a very highly competitive search term, pour spouts. Okay. This is what this course is all about. We are beating companies like Amazon, Target, Walmart, etc. Sometimes we're a little bit below Amazon, but usually we're in position 1 or 2, with this for this keyword. So this is what this training is all about. We want to help you, if you want to do this yourself, get to the top in Google and rake in amazing results. Also, if you are a business that operates globally, why not implement a global English SEO strategy? There's a website called isearchfrom.com. You can basically check the listings, the rankings of your website around the globe. In this case, this page is now ranking globally in English-speaking markets for pour spouts related keywords. This is a crazy moneymaker. Couldn't be happier about the results that we're able to achieve for this customer. All right, Daniel, this is actually from Search Console. So we started this project or this micro campaign, micro SEO strategy for pour spouts, I think back in June. This is what we want to see, right? Is it always going to go up? No, you will see dips here and there. Do not freak out, right? It's like the stock market. Don't pull out your money if you see a little dip. As long as the trend is going up over time, you are golden. This is what SEO is all about, right? Google changes its algorithm on a regular basis. So maybe you'll see a dip for even a couple of months. Do not freak out. If you do this by the books, you will see results. All right. Let's talk about the SEO fundamentals. Daniel, where's the best place to hide a dead body?
Page 2 of Google.
Yes, right there. So most of us will actually click on the top, I would say 3 to 4 organic search results. Very few of us will ever go to page number 2, right? 2 out of 10 people will actually click on the paid ads that I showed earlier. And then 8 out of 10 people will click on the organic search results. Of those, about 62% will actually click on the top 4 organic search results. So it's, fantastic if you are on page number 1, but it's not that great if you're, in position, let's say 7, 8, 9, 10, not good enough, right? We want to be in the top 3 to 4 organic positions. All right. Daniel, how long does it usually take, including when we do the onboarding, start the project? When do we start to see results for our clients?
It depends on a project by project basis, but usually if it's a project that has low hanging fruits, and we'll talk about those a little bit later. And what I mean by that is a website that is, pretty much established and has some opportunity for growth. I think once we start a campaign and implement some of these things, within the first 3 to 4 months, we should start seeing some improvements. And again, once they start, they continue to grow, like you mentioned, as the gift that keeps on giving. Just to refer back to that graph that you showed of that, metrics improving to for pour spouts, one point that I really wanted to say in there that's really interesting is, in full transparency, I think we worked really hard on that campaign to about half to 2/3 of that graph. And then we started focusing on some other campaigns, but because the page was so well optimized and because there was so much on it, it continues to grow on its own. So that's I think one of the things about the gift that keeps on giving. The minute that we set up these foundational pages and they're so well optimized, they continue to grow by themselves, right? And then that allows us to focus on another page. And then we shift over to another page. So that's really the benefit of, SEO is really the long play game, because we can see some short-term growth, but the longer we work on it, the bigger the goals and achievements that we're able to get.
Absolutely. Some good news, some bad news. We do have a little bit of time here together throughout these 3 sessions. We absolutely do not have enough time. I used to teach a 3-day SEO course, and I even felt I was able to touch the tip of the iceberg. But again, I think you'll get some really good information out of this workshop here. Change is the only constant thing. Google updates its algorithm, I think nowadays between 5, 10, 15 times, minor updates, and then massive updates throughout the year. So don't think that, this is a one-time thing. This is something that you need to do on an ongoing basis. All right. So let's talk about the search engine algorithms. All right. If you type something into Google, in this case, international SEO training, Google will run that keyword through its software script, also known as the algorithm. All right. There's potentially thousands of ranking signals in these algorithms. There's probably like 200 to 250 main things, so let's call them ranking signals, that we should be addressing as part of a SEO project. And then the better you do this, the better you'll rank, right? So you can basically place all of these ranking signals onto one of these 5 pillars. Technical SEO, obviously we're going to talk about all of these 5 pillars. The functional aspect of a website, stickiness, ease of use. Then on-page SEO, what we're going to tackle today, keyword research, mapping, meta tags, etc. Off-page, what's going on outside of your website. Google pays close attention. How people talk about you. Are they linking back to your website? Do you have a Google business profile, etc.? And then again, sadly, social media needs to be part of your SEO strategy. Google pays close attention to everything that you do. So if social media is important for your business, the more likes, shares, engagements you get on your social media platforms, the better. And then this is where everybody fails: content marketing, storytelling. There is no SEO without content, right? This is what Daniel spoke about earlier, the pour spout example again. We basically created the ultimate best piece on the web about pour spouts, right? This is what SEO is all about. This is what Google wants to see. This is what Google wants to serve to us, the users of Google. Relevant, high quality information. So yeah, content marketing, that's the SEO magic. All right, the better you address all of these ranking signals, the better your digital credit score. It's similar to the FICO credit score that we have here in the US. The better you pay your bills, the higher your credit score, the less interest you're going to pay if you need to borrow money. It's going to save you a lot of money over time. Same thing with SEO. The higher your digital credit score, the easier it's going to be for your website to rank over time. So Google, after a while, they will assign a domain authority to your website. So the higher that domain authority, the easier it's going to be for your website to rank for your keywords. Then Priya, by content marketing, do you mean blogs, articles? Correct, yeah. Anything that communicates, so that's blog posts, articles, case studies, white papers, whatever we can put on the website, right? That's we define that as content marketing, and we'll talk about that in Tuesday's session. All right. Daniel, remember June of last year when our own website got hit by an algorithm update? Why did that happen?
Well, to be fully transparent, we were so focused in all of our clients' campaigns that we didn't pay so much attention to our own websites.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. It was going really well for a very long time. And then all of a sudden, there was about a 50% drop of traffic, no more leads. We went from like, being way too busy to what in the world is going on? So it was a little bit of a nightmare, but it was also the best thing I think that could have happened to us, because it really forced us to rethink everything, right? Let's go back to the drawing book. Let's sit down. Let's figure everything out. SEO has changed, right? We did not update our website. It was a stale website that worked for a long time. And then Google unleashed these algorithm updates, and rightfully so, they hit us. And I think there's a few people on this call today that I recently spoke with. I think many of your websites also got hit. So we know exactly how to fix it. It will take a little bit of time. Daniel, you and I spent many weekends here fixing this problem. It took about 3-4 months, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the process of fixing this problem also created the process that we now implement for everyone, because we took a real dive deep in understanding what Google was looking for. And I think we found that through the micro-strategy campaigns, which is really, it's the core of how we implement our SEO strategies. And across the board, we're just seeing pretty much working for every campaign that we're implementing micro-strategies for, which is really amazing.
So basically what we did, so Google basically went away from ranking sites to ranking certain sections or even just certain pages on your website. So that's when we invented these micro SEO strategies, right? Where you don't have to optimize the entire website. You can actually just optimize certain pages. And we have now 1 or 2 pages that generate, I think, most of the leads that we're getting. And we'll talk about that in our, when we get to the micro SEO strategies. All right, a question from the Blackboard. How long is your website expected to work? What is the average shelf life of a website? Awesome question. I would say, at this point, and we'll talk about algorithm updates here in a second, you cannot let a website go stale. However, we do see that Google starts to de-index content, depending on the industry, I would say potentially after a year or a year and a half. Again, this varies widely by industry. But we'll get, I think the third day, we'll take a look at that, and I'll show you exactly how to identify the pages that Google de-indexed on your website.
Yeah, and I think there's 2 sides to that question, right? What Chris answered now is the shelf life of content on the website, and how long will the content sit there and be, viable, and when do you need to update? And then the other side of that question is, and I think you might have referred to that on the question, is, the website itself, does it need to be redesigned? Does it need to be rebuilt every once in a while? And the answer to that question is, it depends, right? So there's a couple of websites that we had to rebuild for clients just because the WordPress theme that they were built on was so outdated that it wasn't able to be updated at a certain point, and it became a liability for hacking. So at that point, it's a structural need to rebuild the website. If the look and feel of the website no longer represents the company, that might be time for a refresh. But with that being said, as long as the website is updated, the plugins are updated, the theme is updated, the server software is updated, a website can last for a very long time, as long as you're checking all these other boxes as well. But I think one of the real important things in terms of keeping an eye on the actual website functionality side of things is make sure it's updated. I can't tell you the number of people that we've seen that got hacked just because they had plugins that weren't updated, or they were running a older version of PHP on the server, and that can create a lot of havoc for rankings, right? The minute that Google says, oh, this, a site now has been indexed and it's been infiltrated with a virus, you end up losing all of the rankings. So it's really important to make sure that everything on the website side of things is always up to date.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. We're going to run a site audit using SE ranking. So this is not a black box, right? This is something you need to monitor on a regular basis. This is what we do for our clients. Initially we fix any technical functional issues, and then we, every quarter, we keep an eye on what's going on with the website. Basically, if your car is not performing the way it should be, you're going to take it to a mechanic, right? Same thing with your website.
Yeah.
That's probably a good analogy.
Yeah. And then just one more thing on that question, which is really good. If you have, for example, a Shopify store, right? Shopify is a hosted solution. It means Shopify is taking care of all of the updates, all of the security. They're always on it. So the shelf life of a Shopify website is for as long as you have it. A WordPress, on the other hand, is one that you, as the website owner, you need to be in charge of updating and making sure that it's always up to date. So you need to understand that the platform that you're using, is it a hosted platform that it's being taken care of, or is it a platform that is your responsibility to update?
Awesome. Cool. Right. And so what we're going to cover now, that's just like for general good knowledge, SEO knowledge. In 2015, Google unleashed Rankbrain. Basically, its algorithm started to include AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. Massive improvement to the algorithm. Then EAT. This algorithm update is all about Google rewarding website owners or websites that can show that they are experts in their field, that they have authority, and that they're trustworthy, right? So if you are somebody who's well-known in your industry, if you are going to conferences, if you speak, make a big deal about that, right? We do digital PR strategies for our clients where we do press releases, we try to get them into publications, etc. This is extremely important. So this algorithm update is probably something that anybody can do, right? It's more often outside of your website. Make sure people talk about you, make sure they link back to your website, etc., etc. All right. Then BERT. That algorithm update was all about Google better understanding context. We all now talk into our cell phones, our smartphones. So Google has to be able to process more complex searches. Hey, I'm not going to say it, otherwise it's going to pop up here. Hey, gee, where can I find tickets to tonight's concert near me? Something like that, right? Extremely complex query. Google is getting really good at understanding that. So this is what this algorithm update was all about. Then, Daniel, I'll let you talk about the Core Web Vitals algorithm update. That's in line with, technical, functional SEO, keeping your website fast.
Yeah, so let me mention that. So Core Web Vitals is something that for a long time, Google was saying that it was important to make sure that it was good in these three areas. But it became so important that if you log into your Search Console today, you're going to see in the Google Search Console a section called Core Web Vitals. And it talks about the loading, interactivity, and the visual stability. It has these three sections in there. And this is where Google is telling you that your website either passes or it doesn't pass in these three. And the reason they're doing that is because it's such an important metric that if you are getting penalized, they're telling you that you're getting penalized, and they're telling you exactly what pages and what you need to fix, so you can get a green light on all three of these, right? And these three things essentially mean, number one, loading. How fast is your website loading? Interactivity, once the page loads, how easy and how quick can users interact with your website? Is there a button there? That's when the old kind of best practice of, make sure that you put a button above the fold on any page is so important. Visual stability. Have you ever been to those pages where things load, and as one thing loads, it pushes something else to the side, and you try to click a button and something else loads and it moves the button? That's visual stability. So if the website isn't stable as it loads, you're getting penalized for that. And essentially, these 3 items of the core web vitals translates into user experience, right? It means that the website is providing really good user experience for the clients. It loads fast, they get to where they need to quickly, and things are right there. So again, core web vitals is just a sliver of the technical audit, but it's such an important one that Google, through Google Search Console, is actually telling you how you're scoring and where do you need to improve on your website.
Awesome. All right, and Google Mom, this is probably the reason why we started to create these micro SEO strategies, and you'll learn all about it, and you'll learn what it is, how it works, and why it's so incredible. So Google is now able to pull data, content from various different sources, platforms, whatnot, from various different languages, and then present us with highly relevant information to, these highly complex search queries. So this works in conjunction with BERT. I mean, this was a big deal. This is why Google is actually de-indexing a ton of content on the web. We had a meeting with a client yesterday. I think their traffic dropped, and but lead gen didn't drop, right? So what happened back in the day? It was all about just cranking out content. It was not about cranking out high quality content. So now Google has to de-index the crappy content out there. So it's all about publishing high quality content that's actually meaningful, as a purpose that your audience wants to see. So this is what this mom algorithm update was all about. All right, Daniel, I think this is one of your favorite topics: your money, your life. All right, so we will no longer work with certain clients, and Daniel, I'll let you explain what field and why.
Yeah, so your money, your life is a category that Google will put certain websites into. So any category that will directly influence someone's life, either financially or medically. So a doctor, investment company, it's either going to affect the way that you manage and money, or it's going to affect and influence your health and your life. So for example, if you're selling supplements, or if you're selling a specific health product, you fall into the your money, your life. And what happens then is, because you're categorized into that group by Google, it scrutinizes your website a lot more than it would anybody else that's not in this category. One of the simple ways for you to know if you are part of that category, and one of the tests that we do, is we do a search for a certain keyword and see what websites are coming up. And for example, if you see that every website on the first page has a domain authority of 90 plus, you know that it probably falls into your money, your life category, because one of the prerequisites that Google requires for a website into that category to be listed on page number 1, for the most part, there might be some exceptions, is that it has a very high domain authority, right? So what does that mean? That means that, yes, we want to make sure that this website has EAT. They're experts, they're authoritative, they're trustworthy on this category before they are going to allow a website to rank up high on Google. So the reason we're very hesitant on taking clients that are in this category is because to be able to rank a specific page up on page 1 of Google, and let's say that this is a new website, or it's a website that's been around but only has a domain authority of 30, 40, it means that we need to build that authority up to the 80s, 90s before we're able to see that page listed up on the first page of Google, where we really want to see that. And to be able to move a domain authority from anywhere in the 30 to 40s to 80s and 90s, that is a very long-term process. So again, websites that are outside this category that have low-hanging fruit opportunities, we're talking about seeing results in 3-4 months, right? On the other side of the spectrum, a website that doesn't have a lot of opportunity and falls into this category, we might be talking about seeing results in 2 years, 3 years, which, you know, a lot of times is what needs to happen. But a lot of times also it's very frustrating, right? For the owner of the business that, you know, SEO needs to be such a long-term investment. So that's one of the things to keep in mind. I mean, one of the ways to really understand if your site falls into that, you know, category is if you're dealing with money or health, you automatically fall into it. And if you don't, if you're not sure, you know, a good way to do it is really to do a search and see what kind of DA authority sites are being listed on the top. And if you have any questions, actually, you can put it onto the chat and we'll do a little search here and kind of give you our take on it as well.
Yeah, so I mean, we do work with medical companies because they do have a certain domain authority and they already have low-hanging fruit opportunities. So yeah, I don't think we don't work with medical companies, but they have to be certain criteria have to be met. All right. This is part, what you see here, this is part of our SEO strategy framework. Basically, these Your Money, Your Life pages, they require a very high form of EAT. Expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness, right? I'm not going to go into great detail, and you're going to get access to these slides so you can take a look, geek out on this SEO strategy framework. But basically, these are the things that we're going to have to address, right? If one of our clients is in that impacted by EAT or by Your Money, Your Life. So we definitely have to create a very creative SEO strategy that's usually a bit more involved.
Yeah, let me make a note on that real quick. So we actually have a medical practice right now that we're working with, and we have to up the domain authority for the reasons that I just explained. So what we're doing now for them is they have a page with the bios of all of the doctors of the practice, right? So the first thing that we're doing is we're breaking up each one of these bios into a standalone page. So now each doctor has their own page. And on that page, we're going to link every single certification, every single speaking engagement. We're going to put as many things about that specific doctor that will show Google, yes, this doctor is a true expert in his field. And we're going to do the same for every single doctor, right? So that's the step that we're taking from creating this, transforming this one page that just outlines all of the doctors into creating this multitude of pages outlining the expertise of every single individual that's part of this entity. And that's how we increase domain authority on these websites.
Awesome. And then I'm not going to go over this, but this is basically the SEO strategy framework. It's a simplified version of our SEO methodology. So as you can see now, you know, I wasn't kidding when I said there's about 200, 250 main ranking signals that need to be addressed. This is a very simplified version of our methodology. Again, you're going to get these slides and you can blow this up. That being said, I wanted to share this link with you guys. Google's quality reviewers guidelines. Okay. This is a great article or a great document for you guys to read. Read the first 32 pages. This will explain what Google is rating as high quality content and why. Okay, this is directly from Google. So this is probably one of the best pieces of content that you can read over the foreseeable future. All right, so we're about halfway here. Hey, Greg. All right, so let's get organized. And Daniel, we're about halfway here.
Perfect.
Let's not spend too much time, but let's give our audience just a good overview, obviously these are not the exact process documents that we are using here. We have a way more sophisticated methodology and, processes, but we took a lot of time to put together basically a very simplified version of our process documents. Why is that so important? Again, this is part from the Seo Strategy Framework. Unless we know exactly, what our clients are looking for, unless we know, who the clients are, unless we define, the goals, desired outcomes, how we're going to track success, reporting, etc., we're not going to be successful. We're probably going to be fired after 3 to 4 months. So everything needs to be documented. Define the strategy, how we're going to communicate, onboarding, all that good stuff. Only then can we put together a meaningful strategy that actually makes sense and that has a chance for us to be successful. All right. We have created 5 templates here, and I'll let why don't we start with I'll take this guy real quick. We make it a little bit bigger. Again, just make a copy of this, go to File, make a copy, add it to your drive, or download as Microsoft Word. So you wouldn't believe it, but many companies, they actually don't have a proper business plan or a marketing plan. So this is a template that will allow you to, hey, let's just put everything in order. Why are we deciding to launch this product or service? What's the story behind it, the messaging? And by the way, feel free to, change this as you see fit. It has to make sense for your business, right? Are there, who are the end users, influencers, decision makers, what not? Again, I'm not going to go over great detail here, but it has a lot of really good information, I believe, that will allow you to, tackle an SEO project that's really well organized, thought out, has all the information in there that you can share with other team members. All right, I'm going to close that puppy. Then let me see, there's a question here. Yes, Maria, Cecilia, I put that in the email that I sent out, and then I will resend those templates again. When I quickly, I'll plug this one into the chat, and then this one too, so that you guys already have it, so you don't have to wait. And then I'll let Daniel go over it. So these are basically the process templates that we're going to use. All right, there we go. Let me see, I think there was another question. All right, so yeah, well, I'll put those again in the link in my follow-up email. Daniel, I let you talk about onboarding a little bit.
Yes. And then one thing to keep in mind is, onboarding for us might be slightly different than if you're onboarding yourself and you're managing your own client, your own company. But I still think the questions all need to be the same questions. And why? Well, let me explain that real quick. So, and I'm not going to go over this document step by step. And then, one of the things that, for example, it's very interesting is in the beginning, and I get this question from a lot of people, is like, why do I have to fill out this big, long questionnaire? I mean, all I need is, to tell you a couple keywords, and then we want to rank highly for these keywords. That's it. Why do I need to know buzzwords? And why do we need to know this? Well, I'll tell you why, for a couple reasons. Number one, as we start creating, for example, citations, or if this is a local business, right, we need to really understand, the address and the services, because one of the big things that makes it so a Google My Business page is going to rank highly is the consistency on how those citations are listed across multiple directories. How well and how relevant and how consistent are the listing of services and products that you offer, right? One of the things that's in here as well, for example, target audience, right? Yes, we're going to select a keyword, and when someone actually searches for that keyword, we want on there. So why do you want to know who the target market is? Well, very importantly, because remember that one of the signals, for example, is social, right? So what does that mean? That means we're going to have a social person that's creating social messages, and they're going to be going to different platforms, and they're going to be putting out there. We cannot just create random content and expect it to connect with your audience. That's why these questions about who your persona is so important. What are their pain points? What values and what is something that they're really looking for? The minute that the social media content and even the content that we're creating for the website really addresses and communicates directly with that user persona, the ability that we're going to have to convert and engage with that audience is much, much, much higher. And that's why a lot of these questions that you see, for example, in here are extremely important. Channels, how are you communicating with them? Are you going out to trade shows? If yes, let's really focus on promoting that. Let's do some press releases. Are you doing, direct mailing? Well, how are we going to be able to leverage that? Which social media platforms are your audience, leveraging? That's something that we need to take in consideration when we're doing the social media activity. Again, what keywords and phrases do you think someone's going to be searching for? We go through an in-depth keyword research, which we're going to go over in more detail, but it's always very important to understand from the business owner, what are the keywords that you want to rank for? And a lot of times those keywords are going to be great keywords. And a lot of times those keywords are going to be good starting points for us to actually do research. But through our research, we're going to say, those are good, but you should really look into these long tail keywords or these other variables that are going to be that have a lot more opportunity to rank sooner and are going to generate a lot more qualified traffic. So again, as you go through this document, and there's a lot of information here, there is a method to the reason that every single one of these is being asked for, because everything comes together, right? It's not about just, yes, the outcome is we want someone to search for a specific keyword and land on the page. One of the things that we're going to be talking about is conversion rate optimization. One of the metrics that Google really takes in consideration is conversion rate and engagement rate, right? Doesn't matter if we rank highly for a page, but you have a bounce rate of 70%. What that's going to happen is Google's going to penalize that page and move you down, right? A bounce rate means someone looked at that page and they said, nah, this is not the page for me. And they're going to turn right back around. Why is it? Well, the majority of the times is because the way that initial content on that page is being written doesn't connect to your target audience in a meaningful way. How are we and our copywriters going to be able to write meaningful content? Is really understanding all of these things. What are the pain points? What are the buzzwords? What are they looking for? So again, that's why filling out, questions like this on the onboarding, process is such an important step of the process.
Well said, well said. And then let's quickly talk about buyer persona profiles. So I teach part of a master's degree online for the University of Strasbourg, France. I make my students fill out this buyer persona profile. So I invite you, if you're up for it, think about your business, think about who are the people that will potentially get to your website and what's their intent, So right here, think about, is it somebody doing research? Is it the decision maker, an influencer? Just write down here, influencer. And then fill this out. You don't have to pay a lot of money to an expensive consultant to do these buyer persona profiles. I believe this is something that you can do yourself. as part of our, even the initial questionnaire, you know, we ask our customers, hey, who is it that you're targeting, etc. So we write this down already. So we do this sort of like on the back end already. We know who we want to get to the website. A lot of people, they actually don't. So feel free to do this exercise and maybe share it next time. All right. Then, so if you're doing SEO yourself, you might as well have meeting notes and a meeting agenda. Something simple like this will do a Google Doc where you keep track of team members and then write down, hey, this is when we met, this was the agenda, these are the action items. John, do it by XYZ. You know, you can hyperlink stuff here. Something simple like this will do. Then during the content development portion of this class, we'll go over this template. But again, this is, I make my students use this template. They have to create a search engine optimized blog post. And this is basically, these are the guidelines that I'm making them follow. So we'll get to that when we talk about content marketing. And then this is the SEO project worksheets, Google spreadsheet. We're gonna, you know, hopefully we'll have time to do keyword research, low-hanging fruit keywords, keyword mapping. So we'll walk through these tabs as we're doing, you know, covering the rest of this course here today. All right, that being said, I think we already have to watch the time. Let me close a few tabs here. There we go. All right, let's get to the next slide here. All right, so now let's get into on-page optimization. So now theoretically, we're at a really good point, right? In that we understand who we're targeting. We have set up the onboarding document. We know exactly how we're going to go about this project. Now it's time to identify the keywords that we want to rank for in Google. Okay. So we'll cover keyword research from scratch. Then we're going to take a look at low-hanging fruit keyword research, keyword mapping, and meta tags creation and optimization. All right. I think it's very important to understand the difference between a short tail keyword and a long tail keyword. All right. Short tail keywords are keywords of one or two words strung together. In this case, Denver SEO. Usually, these keywords have very high search volume. However, the intent is a little bit lower than with a long tail keyword. It's usually more competitive to rank for these keywords, and there's lower relevance in general. So if I could be number one for a keyword here, I probably would pick Denver SEO services, right? Denver SEO services, to me, it has a higher intent. It's probably lower search volume, monthly search volume. It's probably going to be less competitive, right? And I think we made this one of our target SEO keywords. Mm-hmm. And it's getting us a lot of leads because I think we're actually, let's check. By the way, if you want to see how your website ranks, make sure to do an incognito search. SEO services. Let's see. So that's a local map pack. I'm in Lafayette right now. Oh no, we're number 3. That's terrible. We're gonna put some SEO effort into this. All right. But I think before we were on page 2 or 3. So I guess 3 is still acceptable, but I guess we have some work to do here. All right. So anyhow, this is a really good keyword that's getting us a lot of leads here. All right. So let's do keyword research. If you have signed up for SE ranking already, you can basically follow what I'm doing here. In this case, let's pick Denver SEO company as our seed keyword. All right. And actually, that was one of our other target SEO SEO keywords, Denver SEO company. Let's see. All right, so this is a directory. So we're organically the first real company. When we started this campaign, we were on, I think, page number 2 or 3. Yay, success. All right, so we're gonna head over to, this is SE ranking. We're gonna head over, let me move the Zoom thing here to this section, keyword research. And by the way, there are many keyword research tools. There's also Google Keyword Planner, which is obviously a Google tool, but you're going to have to run a paid Google Ads campaign in order to get the full functionality. So we like to use, I mean, obviously we use a variety of tools when we do keyword research for our clients. I think for you guys, this is a great starting point. So Denver SEO company. Okay. You also, if you're outside of the US, you can simply click on this pull down menu and pick your target country. All right. So what I'm interested in, so this is the seed keyword. Okay. This is when I talk with potential customers, I'm like, hey, you know, if there's a keyword that if you could be #1 in Google for your business, what would that be? And then, hey, let's see what's going on with this keyword. You know, are people actually searching for this keyword? You know, how competitive is it? You know, how easy or not is it to optimize for this keyword? What are related keywords that we may want to make part of our SEO strategy? All right. So apparently it's extremely easy. Well, it wasn't really easy, but you know, it's doable, right? Especially if you're an SEO expert, I think it's doable, you know, as we did. Then, oh, sorry, I'm joking here. Search volume, look at this. There's actually pretty decent search volume. It varies month by month, but heck, yeah, I mean, it's making us a lot of money because we get a lot of clients through this keyword. So yeah, we're getting a big chunk of these searches. Then if you were to do pay-per-click, it would cost about $9 to get people to your website through pay-per-click. We definitely don't want to spend that. So we want to be #1 organically in Google. Then for your keyword research exercise, come down here, these sections. So SE ranking is showing us similar keywords. Okay, we're going to download those in a second. Related keywords, low search volume keywords, right? So usually for our clients, I'm going to go with this section here, similar keywords, there's only 23. Related keywords, there's 240. And then low search volume, there's less. I recommend if you do SEO yourself, download all of these recommendations. You don't want to miss like a golden nugget. So in this case, I'm just going to download these keywords. Basically, all I do, click on the tab there, then export, then I already did that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this data over into the keyword research tab. Then I'm going to do a pay special, values only. Ta-da! All right. So now this is the seed keyword. Okay. SE ranking created this list based on this seed keyword. So these should be all closely related keywords. Now I want to find the, let's say if we're optimizing the, actually I'm going to show you which page we optimized for this keyword. It's loading. So we created this beautiful Denver SEO page. So that's when we got hit by the Google algorithm update. We completely redesigned and re-optimized this page. As you can see here, oh boy, not your typical Denver SEO company. And we'll get into how to properly optimizing these pages. But now I want to find keywords that are closely related to this keyword that we want to optimize a certain page for. All right, rating, number 1, 2, 3. So I would say, you know, this is a number 1. Then SEO company Denver, that's super closely related, has the same search volume. So I think I'm gonna look for another keyword. Actually, just for the heck of it, let's go with Denver SEO companies, the plural. And then let's go with a longer tail keyword, best Denver SEO company, right? So these could be my 3 keywords that I'm going to optimize that Denver SEO page for. You want to do this exercise for all of your pages on your website. So we recommend, let's tackle this from a category standpoint, okay? Bucket keywords into categories. Okay, in this case, this could be, you know, anything related to Denver that we want to show up for, right? You're gonna have to do this exercise where you, you know, find these keywords for many other keywords, and then, you know, you probably have a list of potentially 1,000, if not a few thousand keywords. Categorize those keywords and rate them. Only then will you be able to actually identify the right keywords that we're going to put on each and every page. Also, SE Ranking provides us with what kind of SERP features are shown on this page. SERP features meaning search engine results pages. In this case, people also ask, oh, let's go with, yeah, let's do that. So best Denver SEO company, people also ask, what does that mean? Oh boy. There we go. So if we do a search, there we go. Best Denver SEO company. That's this section. Okay, so it's good to know, where are we? Geez, got to optimize for that keyword. So it's good to know what Google is actually showing in relation to a search term, because we can take advantage of potentially making that part of our strategy for that particular page. Then cost per click. All right, this is how much you will have to pay if you do Google Ads. And then competition, you know, 0.6 is sort of like in between. I think 0.1 would be the highest. Difficulty, I guess that's a number out of 100. I would say totally doable. So yeah, unfortunately, we don't have hours and hours and hours to do proper keyword research here, but I want to make sure that you guys understand the concept of keyword research. Again, this has to be done for each and every one on your sections of your website. All right. Any questions about keyword research and how to use SE ranking for keyword research? All right, cool. Let me see. Ooh, we're running low on time here. Let's talk about low-hanging fruit keywords. Okay. So if your website has been up and running for a while, I guarantee you that it's already ranking for certain keywords. Let's find out what those keywords are. So again, in SEO ranking, just click on competitive research. We're going to use the Boulder SEO marketing website. Domain, you can also do this on a page-by-page level. Click on analyze. All right, scroll down here. So these are the keywords that your website is already ranking for. Look at that, a lot of great opportunities. Ooh, SEO packages. All right, so what we're gonna do, simply export. I already did that. And then basically you wanna copy the entire list here. Just going to grab a few to show you the example of how to do low-hanging fruit keyword research. Again, come over to the tab here, by use only. So now, Daniel, can you explain what a low-hanging fruit keyword would be?
So low-hanging fruit keyword, by the way, it's my favorite word in the world. It is a keyword that fits a couple criteria. Number one, it's a keyword that's very relevant to your business. So it's something that you want to rank for because people are searching for, and you're going to have a high conversion rate because it's very much related to what you offer. Number two, you need to make sure that there's good search volume, right? If you choose a keyword that has 5 people searching, you know, you need to take in consideration if it's worth putting a lot of effort into that keyword if you're only going to get 5 eyeballs on that keyword. So you want something that has high search volume. And then most importantly, what makes a keyword a great low-hanging fruit is that you're currently ranking somewhere below position 4 and somewhere up of position 20. So, you know, the middle to the bottom of page 1 to somewhere in page 2. Why do we like keywords in that position? Because for us, it's a lot easier to do a lot of focus into that page, which is what a MicroStrategy is, to move that keyword up to the top of page 1, right? On the other side of the token, what's not a low-hanging fruit is, let's say that it's a great keyword, it's great search metrics, but you're in position 105. Well, to move you from page 105 to page 1, it's going to take a long time, right? The fact that Google is already ranking that keyword in the bottom or middle of page 1 or page 2, it's because it already takes that page very seriously. So because it's already taken seriously, it's going to take less effort to move it up. And because it's so close to the top of page 1, it's going to be easier for us to move it to the top of page 1. So really, it's a relevant keyword with great search metrics, which is somewhere in page 1 or page 2, and it allows us to move it to page 1. That's what makes it a good low-hanging fruit opportunity.
Exactly. In this case, we're actually working on a micro SEO strategy around SEO packages, search engine optimization packages, etc. Because, man, we have tremendous opportunities here, right? A lot of high search volume keywords where we already rank well. I mean, I know for a fact that, you know, this strategy will get us a lot of leads from around the US. So we're, yeah, working on this strategy as we speak. All right. So I do hope that you'll take a little bit of time to actually evaluate if you have low-hanging fruit keyword opportunities, because this truly will pave the way to implement micro SEO strategies. So basically, no need to completely optimize the entire website. If you have 2, 3, 4 amazing low-hanging fruit opportunities, right? This is the new SEO. This is what we're doing here. It is shockingly successful. So here we go. You know, just create this wish list, and then this is the page. Let me quickly dissect that as well. So we're going to be optimizing this page, we're going to do let's take a look at, what keywords this page is already ranking for and why we're so excited. I mean, if you look at, the search volumes and our current rankings, heck yeah, SEO services, service packages. I mean, there's so many opportunities, right? A lot of people are searching for what we actually offer. So I would, probably the next 3-4 months, we're going to go live with this page, and maybe we can report on the success in our next class.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then maybe you want to touch up on why this is so important, because I think you mentioned in the beginning, but Google has moved away from ranking websites to ranking specific pages. And that's why laser focusing on a specific page makes so much sense.
Exactly. And we will talk about the Pour Spouts micro SEO strategy, exactly, what we did. And this is something that, you can do yourself if you know how to design a website. I mean, we're going to show you exactly how to do it.
Are you going to show them Rankbrain later?
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Very cool. Very cool. You know what? I'm going to delete this stuff so it's not in there. There we go. I'm going to take out my keyword research. And then I hope you will find a little bit of time to do keyword research, low-hanging fruit keyword research on your own. And then I invite you, share your findings next week. Maybe we'll, the first 5-10 minutes dedicate to, taking a look at some examples here. All right, we are running out of time. All right, no shortage of keyword research tools. You have access to an awesome keyword research tool right there. This is what we spoke about, the criteria for a keyword to be a low-hanging fruit keyword. Now let's briefly talk about keyword mapping. Daniel, so now we have, all these keywords that we want to be #1 for in Google. Now, what do we need to do?
Well, we need a point every keyword to a specific page, right? So when you have a very good keyword, you can't optimize the entire website, every page or multiple pages for that same keyword. Actually, when we try, sometimes there's some exceptions and we'll have 2 pages that are going for some relatively similar keywords. But for the most part, every keyword needs to be optimized on 1 page, right? And that allows us to, #1, prevent cannibalization, which means 1 page is fighting against the other page inside the website. And it allows us to fully focus on optimizing that page for that keyword. So anytime someone searches for that keyword, Google is very crystal clear in understanding which page of our site best describes that keyword, and they make that page show up. So keyword mapping is really the exercise of going through the keyword research on a page by page of the website.
Exactly. And so there's a tab as well in the worksheets spreadsheet here. So keyword mapping and meta tags. Write down the page name, the title, include the URL, the 3 keywords, and I would also include the search volume that you want to optimize this page for. And then let's talk about how to create proper title and description tags. All right. So this is keyword mapping, where you basically inventory your website, assign 3 keywords. All right, let's take a step back here. Snippets, that's the technical term for what you're seeing here. This is what Google displays. They will show you the URL where you're going to go to. They will show you a title tag, a description tag, and rich snippet content. We'll talk about that in the last part of the course. Add a keyword in the URL, if possible, the most important keyword, okay? Your title tag, you want to be between 50 and 65 characters. Ideally, start with your most important keyword. In this case, international SEO training, pipe, complimentary 45-minute webinar. If you see this in Google, you probably get what this page is all about. And then the description tag is for you a great way to provide the searcher with additional information, again, maybe who is presenting, when is it, etc., etc. Try to throw in one more keyword there. And then again, we're going to talk about the rich snippet stuff in the third part of this course. But basically, this is how you create optimized meta tags. Again, you have that tab in the spreadsheet. So plug in your 3 keywords and then just give it a try. We even included a character count feature so that you don't go over the character count. Just give it a try I'd love to see some examples next time. And then also if a page has an image on it, make sure plug in the content for the image alt tag. Google also takes a look at that. All right, and then we use WordPress for our website. We use a plugin. This is where this content is gonna go. And this will then, this plugin will create a preview snippet. Basically, if you feel comfortable that if Google is displaying what you're plugging in there resonates with your target audience, if they see that snippet in the SERPs, oh my God, all kinds of acronyms here, go ahead, update that page with the meta information on the backend.
Someone's asking, what is that plugin?
Which one are we using now?
Yoast.
Are we using Yoast? I think
Yes.
that was all-in-one.
This one is, I think, all-in-one. So we use both, depending. So all-in-one SEO and Yoast both do very similar things. And if a website already comes with Yoast, we'll use that. And if it doesn't, a lot of times we'll implement the one all-in-one SEO.
Yeah. All right. We're nearly at the end here. Let's quickly set up, I'll just walk you quickly through how to set up a project in SEO ranking, because that's what we're going to tackle over the next 2 sessions. All right, so let's head over here to SEO ranking. It's very intuitive, very easy to set up a project. Basically, click on create a project. Then, oh boy, I don't think I've touched this website in a while. All right, so simply plug in the URL. So this is, CR site, give it a project name. Then mess around with these settings here if you want. Click on next. Then this is really cool. SEO ranking is doing a really good job, like coming up with keyword recommendations. So yeah, man, if I can be #1 for SEO expert, that'd be awesome. International, I'm not a consultant. National SEO service, national SEO services, national SEO company. SEO marketing course, global SEO. Yeah, just go through this list. I mean, this is really a good keyword recommendation engine. And then make sure click on, why don't we do a couple more? SEO training classes, SEO training Denver. Then click on add keywords. All right. Now click on next. I want to see how I rank in the States, United States. You can also, if you're a local business, you can get very granular, basically, how you rank in Boulder, et cetera, and then include local map packs. So you would have to plug in your business name, phone number. This is a really cool tool. Just mess around a little bit with it, figure it out. Then add search engine, and then you can add more, if you want to use Yandex or, mobile. Just mess around a little bit. That's how you learn this stuff. Then competitors. Who are my competitors? Neil Patel. Many people know this guy. Bruce Clay. Let's go with these 2 guys. There we go. next, and then I could even connect my analytics and search console. I'm not going to do that right now.
But you should when you set up your account.
Yeah, you should.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is as easy as it gets. Right now, this tool is going to start to generate data here. It takes very little time. It also is already running a site audit. So we'll take a look at that next, but take a little bit of time, mess around with this tool and figure it out. It's extremely easy to use and very powerful. So that being said, I think we have about 5 minutes left. Let me see if we have any slides left here. No, over, recap and Q&A. I think I'm going to stop sharing the screen here and I'm going to put us back on camera.
And Jennifer had a follow-up question on the plugin. So,
yep.
You know, is it worth doing the Yoast free versus the paid plugin? And in full transparency, the only Yoast that we use is the free one. It gives you pretty much everything that we outlined, everything that you mostly need. What the premium allows you to do is some additional things. So it allows you to, instead of optimize a specific page for only one keyword, it lets you do 3 keywords. There's also a feature in there which, like the keyword research that we were doing through SE Ranking, it gives you keyword recommendations. It also gives you support from Yoast, so you can contact them and ask questions and so forth. So there's these added features and benefits. There's a whole bunch of other ones, but really the core of what you need it for, which is what we're outlining here, it's definitely something that you get with the free version.
Yeah. Okay. I hope that this first session was useful. I think most of you stuck with us. So there are some optional, thanks, Jeff, optional exercises that you can do. I highly encourage you, if you want to tackle SEO yourself, now's the time to actually get serious, right? We'd love to take a look at some exercises that you guys may have done. And then a lot more information over the next 2 sessions. So we used to charge, we normally charge for these trainings. We don't charge for this training because we went from like, we're going to do it in person to, hey, let's do a 3-part training. We're probably going to charge again, the next training. So I think this is an awesome opportunity for you guys to really take advantage of what we have to offer here. That said, are there any other questions right now? Man, I love the feedback. This is awesome.
I was just going to say as well, because we're doing this for 2 more days, if there's anything that you guys think of that you would like us to mention or touch up on, send us an email and we'll try to incorporate it into the next couple of days as well. So
yeah, still probably Sunday or Monday, finalize the slides for the second session. It will be very good. Now we're getting into the beefy, really cool stuff that, will make a massive difference if you want to do this yourself. Yeah, so overall, the feedback, Danny, has been very good. I mean, this was a blast. I love doing this stuff. Cool. Yeah, Jen, man, it was so good to actually meet you in person the other day.
And thanks for the cookies.
Mary, great to have you here as well. Oh yeah, yeah, we're open. Shoot us an email. Otherwise, you'll get the follow-up emails with the recordings if you want to watch this again for some reason. Cool. I would say have a safe weekend, have a fun weekend, and then we're gonna regroup on Tuesday, same time, same place. I'm going to stop the recording here, but I'll stay online for maybe another minute or so. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to stop the recording until next time.